In Abuja, the death of Chad's longtime president continues to create tension within the country and among its allies in the war against terror. As rebel forces threaten to continue to advance to the capital, the Nigerian military fighting Boko Haram and its ISWAP affiliate has raised its alert levels to critical while deployment strategies are being reviewed. Defense correspondent Sifon Sen reports.
Tension continues to rise in Chad as rebel fighters threaten to advance on the capital, N'Djamena. The death of longtime President Idriss Deby has also created concerns in neighboring countries. The armed forces under the former president played a leading role in the G5 Sahel, a development and security cooperation framework of Chad and some of its neighbors.
The late president was able to build a formidable army that has the capacity out of proportion of its strength, because I think they only have about 35,000 army, all regulars. Of course, they don't have reserves. But out of proportion, he built an army that is well equipped. He built an army that is very mobile, so that whenever you need them, they can move and deliver the goods. That is why before his death, the Chadian army has garnered a reputation as probably, I said probably here, the best army in that region, and also has become an ally not only to Nigeria and MJTF, but ally to even the French and the United States, who will always count on Chad whenever there is a battle to be fought.
The multinational joint task force fighting Boko Haram has its headquarters in the Chadian capital, and efforts are on to review deployment and fighting strategies in the wake of President Deby's exit. A similar action is being taken at the theater command of Operation Lafia Dole in the Borno state capital, Maiduguri. And the Minister of Defense on Thursday confirmed that the alert level has been raised while security has been beefed up against the influx of refugees. But what does the death of President Idriss Deby portend for the counter-terrorism operation?
When you lose an ally in a counter-insurgency operation that crosses the borders of several countries, then you have a problem. Because if care is not taken, you go back to the former arrangement where Boko Haram will attack Nigeria and then run over. And you know, under international law, you cannot pursue any enemy across the border. It will be considered as an act of war. And you wouldn't like to have, if the country does not give you permission, or on the other hand, cover their own area so that people don't escape, there's really nothing you can do. The only alternative is to pursue them across, which again, the country under international law that you cross into, they have the right to consider your action as as an act of war, and also then you have a problem of fighting your neighbor and also fighting Boko Haram.
As the Chadian government continues to deploy more troops to protect the capital from falling to rebels, its flanks are largely unguarded.
If the son of Deby, who is now the head, all the generals that were loyal to Deby, they are still in place. If they could transfer that loyalty, if they could also understand that fact is after all of them, I see all of them forgetting their internal rivalries which are there, and then coming together to make sure that fact do not take over Chad.
The Chadian government spends around 4.2% of its GDP on the armed forces, making it the most formidable in the region. But all that resources will now go into protecting its sovereignty. Sifon Sen, TVC News, Abuja.
We're staying with Chad, and the video you're about to watch was sourced from France Press Agency. Chad on Friday staged a state funeral for its veteran ruler, Idriss Deby Itno, a key figure in the fight against the Sahel's jihadist insurgency, as France and regional allies voiced backing for his son and successor, Mohammed Idriss Deby. The elder Deby, who had ruled the vast semi-desert state for 30 years, according to the army, died from wounds sustained fighting rebels at the weekend. His death has now stunned the Sahel and its ally and former colonial ruler France, battling a jihadist revolt that in 9 years has swept across 3 countries. The unrest has claimed thousands of lives and forced hundreds of thousands from their homes. Mr. Deby's coffin, draped in the national flag and surrounded by elite troops, was driven on the back of a pickup truck to the Place de la Nation Square for ceremonies attended by foreign leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron.